Hey mates, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kaitlyn and I'm an American learning to live down under here in beautiful Sydney, Australia. I've gotten quite a few questions from my American friends and family living back home, as well as a few Australian friends living here. So today I wanted to share some of the most commonly asked questions that I've received in the a little over 2 months that I've been living over here in Australia. First question that I've gotten asked quite often is, have I seen a kangaroo in the wild yet? And the answer to that is yes. Typically the first kangaroo you see will unfortunately be roadkill, but I have seen actual live kangaroos in the wild as well. Mark and I were driving up to Canberra and we actually saw a group of them along St. George. There's probably about a dozen of them just along the water's edge, chilling out, eating, drinking. It was actually really cute to see. Be honest, I can't tell if they're kangaroos or wallabies yet. I think they're kangaroos. I didn't ask Mark, we drove by them so fast. I'm still kind of learning the difference between the two. I know that wallabies are like smaller and a little bit more gray in color. Kangaroos are a little bit more red. I think they were kangaroos. But yeah, unless they were wallabies, I have actually seen kangaroos in the wild. So the second question I get asked all the time is, can you send me Australian snacks or can you send me food from Australia? So the short answer is yes. I am able to send a lot of foods over to people in the States. Obviously there are some limitations. We know that things are taking a lot longer right now because of the whole COVID restrictions and supply chain issues that are happening globally right now. And obviously, even pre-COVID times, there are a lot of things that I'm not able to send. Anything that's liquid, obviously any sort of alcohol. I don't think I'm able to send over any sort of like meat products or dairy or anything with like nuts and seeds in it. But other than that, I can send over some classic Aussie things like Vegemite, Tim Tams, chicken salt. If you've sent care packages over to people or people have asked you to bring specific things over, can you let me know down below in the comments so I can get a few ideas of what to send over besides Tim Tams and chicken salt? Because I have a few care packages that I have promised I would send over to people, and I want to make sure that I'm sending like a decent variety of actual really good Australian products. So if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below in the comments section, or if you're an Aussie overseas, let me know what you missed the most and drop that down in the comments below. So another question I've gotten, and this is from one of my younger cousins, so nobody come at her for not knowing that there's a difference. She's still very young. She wanted to know if it was cold here too. So she's in Philadelphia and it is very, very cold there right now. In fact, it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is -1, maybe even -2 Celsius over in the States where my parents are right now and most of my family lives. So it is very cold. They actually got snow there in the last couple of weeks and it has barely melted. So they are going through winter like the rest of the Northern Hemisphere, but Australia is in the Southern Hemisphere. And as most Aussies know, the seasons are actually flipped. So we are going through summer here right now in Australia. At the time I'm filming this, it's been a very rainy week. It's been La Nina this entire summer. So it has been a very wet summer over here in Sydney. But overall, the weather here has been great this last week. Despite the rain, it's been fairly cool for a summer. I think the highest day it's hit in the last 2 weeks is like maybe 36 degrees one day, which compared to 42 degrees last Australia Day, it's so much better than that. So it would have been nice if it was a little bit warmer this last summer, but because of all the rain, which we have desperately needed over the last couple of years, it has been a very wet and therefore kind of chilly summer over here in Sydney. So hopefully next year it'll be a little bit warmer. We'll have more of a chance to go out, see people, go to the beach, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that this whole panorama situation will calm down. So if you're liking this video so far, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Join our little Amer-Australian family. I post every Monday and sometimes Thursdays about the differences between American and Australian cultures and the overall process of learning to live down under. So speaking of warm weather, another question that I get asked a lot is, have you gone to the beach yet? So all summer I've been able to get to one beach, and that was Newport Beach over here in New South Wales, which is a little dog-friendly beach, very, very small beach right behind a dog park. So we took our Border Collie Claire to the beach on Christmas and she absolutely loved it. She loves playing around in the water, the waves. She loves running around on the beach. She is very much a water dog and will attack like water coming out of the hose, water that's in her water bowl. We have one of those little plastic kiddie pools that we will fill up with water when it gets really warm. So she absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, because of the weather these last few weeks, that has been the only time we've really been able to get to the beach on a free day. So hopefully next summer I'll be able to see a little bit more, but at least I've gotten to the beach once this year. So one question that I've gotten asked quite a bit is, have I seen any snakes over here in Australia? Luckily, I can say no, but again, I have not been here for very long. Even while we were camping, we were lucky enough that we didn't run into any sort of snakes. So I'm hoping that I don't see any for a long time. But being out here in Western Sydney, I do know that some of the suburbs do have run-ins with snakes fairly often. Even though it's not going to be that common to see them in the cities and more the central locations, the farther out you go into the suburbs, the closer to the bush, the outback, the more likely you are to see snakes. So with where we are, there is a chance of seeing them. It's not like I'm going to see one every day, but there is a chance that I will probably run into one within the next year or two with where I'm at. And along with that, I also get asked, have I seen a lot of spiders? And unfortunately, yes, there are a lot of spiders over here in this part of Australia. There are spiders all over the place in Australia, actually. Outside of the cities, you won't see them that often. But I've seen spider webs on the mirrors of Mark's ute. There are spider webs come across the tree in our front yard. And unfortunately, I have even seen a small, like very small spider in our house, which scared the heck out of me. And once when we were driving down the street with the windows all the way down, out of nowhere, a little spider just kind of crawls down the corner of my window, freaks me out. So I'm still not sure what spiders are okay and which ones are deadly. So obviously I'm treating every single one of them like it's deadly. Overall, try not to kill them, trap them, set them farther away outside, like maybe into the neighbor's yard that you don't really like. But I have seen a couple of spiders, and I actually even held a huntsman when Mark and I went camping in December. So Mark had put a spider in my hands to kind of like help me get over the fear of them. And to be honest, it was actually cute. Like, it's this little fuzzy thing. It felt a little bit funny, a little bit ticklish when it was climbing on my hands. But other than that, it was fine. It was harmless. Mark knew it was a huntsman. There was no question about that. And he knew I would be perfectly safe. In fact, he even held it before I did. So I knew I was in good hands. I knew I didn't have to worry this wasn't some prank. I wasn't going to get bitten. Everything was going to be okay. Hopefully the spider turned out okay too. So a question I've gotten a bit is, how has work been for you? And it's been quite a journey getting to where I'm at right now. So to kind of sum it all up in a nutshell, I had a job ready and lined up right before I moved to Australia to work in a law firm. I can't say which law firm. I did sign a confidentiality agreement, unfortunately, but the type of work is not the kind of work that I would like to be doing. It was also very administrative heavy, so there was no research involved, there was no writing involved. It was all processing invoices, drafting letters. It was also kind of a very old, archaic firm that hadn't really come into the whole modern day, the modern era. You know, you don't need to print out every single email, every single piece of paper, every letter that you draft. So it was a very old, archaic firm. It was a very long commute. It was an hour and 50 minutes each way for me to get from my house, take a bus, take a train, walk all the way up to the office. It was over 3.5 hours on public transportation every single day. There was no work from home option. The partner I was working for was basically a dinosaur and needed his secretary there by his side every minute of every day. So it was a very exhausting job. And after 1 week, I gave my notice. I made sure to stay the whole extra week after that to make sure that my contract was not in violation, that there would be no issues, because I was required to give 1 week's notice during my probation period. And while this was going on, I had actually started to set up interviews through recruiters for other companies. And that is how I got the job where I am today, where I am able to work from home before I jump in and actually start working for the day. I'm actually filming this video now on a Monday. So overall, it is like a breath of fresh air and a complete 180. Everybody at this new job has been so nice. They're so helpful. They are completely understanding that I don't know the process yet. I'm brand new to this. I have a ton of questions, and at the same time, I don't even know what questions I need to ask. They know I'm at that brand new, completely green to this stage, but they are really excited to have me on board, and I'm so excited to be working for such an amazing organization. And on top of that, it's also a not-for-profit, so I will get a little bit of a tax break, a little bit of a tax deduction when tax season rolls around. But yeah, overall, work has been great in Australia. I am so glad to be starting this new job and am so so incredibly thankful to find something that is completely work from home. So this last question I've been getting a lot from you guys, my subscribers, my viewers. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of you have been asking how have I been adjusting to the move. Besides just what I'm showing you guys in my videos, really how am I doing? And first of all, thank you so much for asking those types of questions. I can see just how like caring and thoughtful people in this community are, and it's so nice, and honestly it's touching and inspiring, and I won't get into all that. I'll just answer the question, how have I been doing? I've honestly been doing great. There have been some ups and some downs, and there are some days where it is honestly harder than others. I haven't had huge bouts of homesickness hit me just yet. Once in a while, it's more like there's a food that I really miss, or I could really use a hug from somebody back home. But really, that's been about it. I haven't had days where I felt really homesick, days where I really just wanted to book a flight, so I had something planned and knew I'd be going back to Philly. Overall, the adjustment here has been pretty great. I have such a supportive partner. I'm lucky enough that I actually had a friend who lives in my area before I moved over here. Funny enough, I actually met her a couple weeks before I met Mark. Mark's family has been so sweet and supportive, and the struggles that Mark and I have had to go through in order to get here. His friends are supportive, and I've met so many nice, sweet, kind people along the way. This has been such an amazing journey these last couple of months, and everybody here has been so kind and friendly. So while it hasn't been the easiest adjustment some days, especially dealing with the metric system, overall it's been a fairly smooth transition. I am so lucky to be in a position where I am, know so many supportive, kind, wonderful people over here, and to have this amazing YouTube community who I have learned so much from in the last couple of months. So that is it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button down below to join our little Amer-Australian family. I post on Mondays and sometimes Thursdays about the differences between American and Australian culture and the overall process of learning to live down under. My name's Kaitlyn, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!